Good morning students, welcome back to my channel. So in the last classes we have all discussed about the cancer, properties of cancer, types of cancer and all. So hope you are following the class regularly. Hope you are also answering the questions that have been posted in the community tab. So please be answerable to the answer, all the questions that have been asked. So in this class let's talk about the immune system. So we have already seen the thumbnail. In the coming classes we'll all discuss about the immunity, basic immunity cells, how the T cells and B cells, what are their mode of action, and how the parasites and infections are being destroyed in human body. So these immune classes are going to be very interesting. Please subscribe to my channel and like my videos. So now let's see what is an immune system. So immune system, you all know, we have a well defined immune system in our body, where the foreign particle once enters into our body, the body prepares itself to eradicate it. So it could be many means of mode of actions how the parasites or infections have been removed from the body. So you know pretty well about the bacteria and viruses that would enter into your body, try to multiplicate its number, and increase the number of bacterial cells for the infection to spread all over the body, right? So we have a very much defined immune system where that practice of multiplying or increasing the colony numbers is being destroyed. So let's see it from the basics, and in this class let's talk about what are the types of immunity. Okay, what are the basic types of immunity, and how the body would really first line of defense, how it really acts upon it. Okay, so I told you immune system is our body's first line of defense, where it try to invade and eradicate the germs. Okay, it helps protect us from getting sick and promotes healing when we are unwell or injured. So you all well aware of it. I'll talk to you in the next coming slide. We can also strengthen our immune system by exercising, getting nutritious and fruits, and also getting enough sleep. So for that, first of all, to improve our immunity, we need to have a better change in our lifestyle. That is how you can gain the immunity. Whenever you have a virus coming into your body, the body should be in such a way that it should really fight against it, and for that you now have to have a very immune system maintained body. So for that, let's see how can we really improve our immunity and escape from the infections. So I told you, eating fresh fruits and vegetables, limiting the intake of smoke and alcohol, taking good sleep, of course exercise and yoga, getting vaccinated all the time, and managing the stress and also managing the weight. These are the basic things that we need to do for maintaining our immunity very well. Okay, so I will also link the important foods that can increase the immunity power in humans. Okay, so just go through the description box once if time permits you. Okay, so after that, let's see actually how does the immune system work. I told you, first of all, when a particle enters into your body, that immune system should be able to define it, whether it is a self one or a non-self one, whether it is a self particle or a non-self particle. Then only it can first work on. So that is how the difference between our cells and different cells would be first of all differentiated. And also it also activates and mobilizes the skill and germs and that harm us. Okay, finally it will attack it, and finally till the virus is gone from our body, our continuous immune system keeps on working. Okay, and you all know about the antibodies and antigens. So because as it is an immunology class, I really want to know that antigen antibody complex is like a key and lock type of concept. So that are also anyway cover in the coming classes. These are the basic class for the immunology, so that you should be knowing what is innate immunity, what is acquired immunity. So I will let you know. So you know that antibodies would definitely destroy our germs by binding to it and making a complex out of it, and thus releasing the particles. So now let's see what are the parts of our body that are having that immune power. And the very first thing comes is WBC, that is called white blood cells, right? So you have the white blood cells where you are differentiating them into a granulocytes and granulocytes, right? So a granulocytes, all the neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils will be coming under it. So if you won't have any doubt, I will also link the type of blood cells in the description box. Please go through it. And if you go for the a granulocytes, you have only either T lymphocytes or B lymphocytes, right? They are called lymphoid and myeloid lineage. That also I'll cover in that coming class. So WBC plays the major role for your immune system. So these are the major, I can say, the scavengers of the body, which really would help you to destroy the infection. And you have the cytokines that have been released by one of the T lymphocytes, and antibodies produced by the B cells. So T and B, I will let you know what are the full form of T cells and what is the full form of B cells. For this class, I'm telling you that the T cells and B cells are the major immune cells for your increasing of immunity. Okay, and thymus is the part of the body where the maturation of your T cells happen, and B cells happen. That is why the name came as T cells. T for thymus. Okay, and bone marrow is the area where the new blood cells are produced in the body. So in the coming class, I'm also attaching how the blood cells are produced in human bone marrow. Should also be well aware where the RBC are produced, where the WBC are produced, where the platelets are produced. Everything will be produced only in the bone marrow, right? So where the maturation happens, that is why the B cells are also called bone marrow cell T lymphocytes, B lymphocytes, as T lymphocytes have T in it, that stands for thymus. So B cells and T cells are the major immune cells. And you all know that mucosa, so we all got lined up with a mucosal cells, right? So it would help you to trap the antigens or to trap the bacteria and virus that enter into your esophagus. So whenever you have a flu like infection, you would easily see some phlegm coming out of your nose and coming out of your mouth, giving a green or yellowish color, which says that the bacteria has been trapped in your mucosa, and that is how the color has changed, right? So mucosa also acts as a barrier. It would also help you to trap the bacteria that enters into your human body. And you have spleen and lymph nodes, which would also play the role. Okay, so these are the basic parts of your body that would actually act as a immune system. Okay, now let's see how it would really engulf the bacteria. So for this we have to know what are the types of immunity. Later I will discuss about how the mode of action would be, because I can't directly jump into the class because without knowing the basics, right? So we got actually two different types of immunity. They are innate immunity and acquired immunity. So what is innate immunity? So based on the specificity. So for example, if I am suffering with a normal flu, so the first mode of action, the first body response, immediate response after a foreign particle enters into your body, is what you call the innate immune system, or I can say innate immunity, which is a non-specific immunity. It doesn't have any specificity, right? Whatever the reason that your virus got into you, or whatever the reason that bacteria got in you, no matter what the name of the virus is, what the name of the bacteria is, the first line of defense would always be the innate immunity. Please remember, this innate immunity is really coming from your childhood days, right? This could be these are really non-specific. It doesn't have any specificity like the acquired. So I told you this doesn't really make the body coming out of the virus. It doesn't completely make free of your virus, because it needs the help of your acquired immunity also. So innate immunity can't alone fight with the infection, because they are non-specific. It can only just first attack it with the first line of defense, and then with the help of acquired immunity, then only it can make the virus go out of the body, right? So if you go for that, the immunity, what are the cells that are coming under innate immunity are neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils, natural killer cells, and dendritic cells. These are the cells which doesn't have any specificity. Okay, they would generally come and just get released whenever the body has got a foreign particle, right, which is a non-self particle, of course. So if you go for a specific immune system, this specific immune system is also called the acquired immune system or adaptive immune system. So based on it, so this acquired or adaptive would actually be acquired based on the type of virus that entered into your body, right? So it could be the T cells would immediately act. First of all, the non-specific immune system would get released. It will attract the specific immune system based on the type of virus or bacteria that entered, and hence the T cells and B cells will be produced more and more. And you obviously know that B cells would produce the antibodies and the T cells would produce the cytokines. So this is how you differentiate. In any way, I will go into depth about T and B cells separately each and every class, because I can't really cover everything in one class. Okay, so remember, T cells and B cells are the acquired immune systems, and remaining all neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils, natural killer cells and dendritic comes under the non-specific immune system. So they may ask you in the questions of NEET, so please remember about it. Okay, and now let's see how this acquired or adaptive immunity is further divided into. So based on it, I can really tell you about it. So this adaptive immune response is again divided into humoral mediated and cell mediated. So what does actually humoral mediated means? Humor mediated means there are fluids. So the immunity that is acquired by a human through the B cells. So because B cells are the important cells for the production of your antibodies. So whenever the infection has entered into the blood, the immediate action would be the release of the antibodies by the B cells. So the humoral part or humoral mediated immunity is immunity gained by a human through the B cells. Right, so because the B cells produce more and more antibodies, they are more into the fluids. Like if a virus entered into a human's bloodstream, the immediate first line of defense apart from the innate immunity is the B cells which produce the antibodies. So if it in the same way, if it is cell mediated, what does cell mediated mean? For example, if you take a virus always needs a host for the multiplication, right? You have always seen that actually virus doesn't multiply itself by like bacteria. It does need a host, right? So virus, for replicating its genome, it has to enter into a cell. It has to infect a cell. So whenever the virus enters into a cell, the cell mediated immunity would immediately get provoked in human immunity response. So once the virus enters into the infected cell and making the cell infected, the cell mediated response would be released from the human body, which means the T cells becomes more and more. You already know that T cells are meant for releasing of cytokines, and also they have TH cells, TC cells, T helper cells. Anyway, don't get confused. I will let you know in the next coming classes. So T cells are more in number when the cell gets affected, and B cells are more in number if the virus or the bacteria enters into the bloodstream. So that's how it gives immunity to the fluids of the body by producing antibodies. That is how the antibodies look like. So, and here it gives immunity to the cells when infection enters the body cells. So it is just a basic class for you to know that this innate immunity is a one which is normal from individual and is a first line of defense and doesn't have any specificity. Where if you go for an adaptive immune response, where it gets based on the type of the bacteria, they will release the antibodies. You all know that antigen and antibodies it's like a lock and key model, right? So then only based on the structures present on, or I can say the determinants that are present on the antigen, epitopes and paratopes, based on that linkage only, they can attack the pathogen and kill the pathogen. Right, so they are so specific that if for the same antigen you can't release any other antibodies based on the type of antigen that entered into your body. Our body makes the specific antibodies and make them bind to the antigen, forming antigen antibody complex, and thus it destructs the antigens and helps in destroying the virus. So this is how it looks like. So this is a basic class for immunity. So in the next class I will tell you how the blood cells are formed. So till now you got to know that T cells and B cells are the main immune cells, because eosinophils, basophils, these are all the side effects, or I can say the allergic response. Whenever you have an allergy coming in, eosinophils are coming into action, right? Eosinophils coming to action and basophils coming to action for allergic reactions and all, because they have granules in it, right? So these are the first line of defense, but these are okay. But for you to understand, because you stepped into immunology classes, should be well aware of what are the T cells, where does they get matured, why are they important, how are B cells, and what is the specificity of the B cells, what are the types of antibodies, right? IgG, IgA, IgE. So these are all the important and interesting classes coming on. So please remember, I will also link the important links in the description box. Please go through it. And in the coming class, let's see with the production of types of cells in the bone marrow. So I told you bone marrow is the most important part of your body, because that is where the more hematopoiesis. Hematopoiesis is nothing but the production of blood cells, right? So that happen. Okay, so now hope I am clear with the concept of the basics of immunity. This is how it engulfs it. So I just wanted to show you how it really engulfs the bacteria. Okay, so in the next class I'll talk about how it really, helps. Okay, so see you in the next class. Thank you and have a nice day.